September 22nd, District Court, Courtroom number 6. Let us continue the trial. Larry Butz on the witness stand. This is guaranteed to be good, y'all. Court will now reconvene, reluctantly. He's sweating already. Nick, Ezzy, the two of you are gonna hang me out to dry, aren't you? No, not the both of us. Just Mr. Wright. I'll kiss you. What? How could you? I haven't even done nothing yet. I don't really think he did it, of course, but I've got to use whatever leads I can. I don't know, do you really... Oh, God. Alright, so is this the first time now that the three of us have actually been in the courtroom together? I think it is. Because any other time that Larry has ever testified, I think it's been a different prosecutor, hasn't it? Pretty sure. Anyway, Mr. Butz, there's a possibility you moved the lantern that had the dead body in it. There is a possibility. Now, obviously, if that's true, I know you're not going to admit it. And that's why I'm going to have to just force it out of you, bub. So if you want to clear yourself of any suspicion, all you got to do is testify. All you have to do is practice. This is your world. You're the creator, baby. Now then, your testimony, please, witness. What is he even going to talk about? I have no idea. Nick is a jerk face. Oh, no. I'm going to have fun pressing this one. Nick, you big fat stinking jerk! How can you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over. Thumbs up to that. Yep. That's good. That's gonna be fun. Yeah, I know. I'm not... That's not the look on my face. I'm sitting here smiling. Smiling! Well, go ahead, Mr. Wright. He's all yours. You're the one who called that butthead to the stand, so he's your responsibility. Thanks, old chum. Old buddy, old pal. Jeez, every time I see that thing on his forehead, it looks like somebody's about to shoot him, and that's like the sights of the gun or something. Can't any of you show me a little respect, even just a shred? Give a little respect. You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Wright. I would, if there were any testimony to cross-examine. Are we actually pressing this? We actually are. You're gonna make this about me right now? I have nothing to do with this case, aside from the fact that I'm defending the defendant. You big fat stinking jerk. Here we go. Let the fun begin. Come on, Larry, can't you please give me something real to work with? Don't think I don't know about your tricks. If I say something careless, you're gonna shove some evidence at me with a loud objection! And a super smug look on your face. Yeah, well, that is my job. And if I get found guilty, how are you gonna take responsibility for what you've done? Why should I take responsibility for just doing my job? You heartless jerk, don't you have any compassion for me? I do, but you and the truth ain't lining up right now. Do you understand this? Please! How can you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. No, actually, we've known each other since... I'm sorry, Mr. Butz, but if it wasn't Miss Wyatt that entered the hold with that card, then you're the most likely suspect. Yeah, see, just lay down the truth, Phoenix. Get him to say something. Nick, are you seriously doubting the innocence of your old childhood friend? Well, technically, yes. There you go. But it isn't personal, I assure you. Oh. A true friend would believe in me no matter what. Can't you see my tears? Don't they mean anything to you? Nick? Nick? You don't really think you can cry your way out of this, do you? Okay, fine. In that case. Oh, and the final statement. Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over.
Hold it!
Took long enough. No. Larry, listen to me. Shut up! I'm not talking to you anymore! Sucks, man. Oh my god. This is getting us nowhere. Alright, we're time to lay down the law here. Come off it, Larry. If you don't quit fooling around and start testifying, Miss Wyatt will be found guilty. For real? What did you think was going on here? Did you think we were just having a tea party? If no new information comes out of this cross-examination, then yes, Mr. Butz, for real. Not that I would have a problem with that myself. He definitely wouldn't, dude. Larry, just tell us the truth already. Did you or didn't you go into the hold and move a lantern up to the reception hall? I never moved any bull lantern, I tell you. Bull lantern? Huh? What, did I say something weird? So did you move a cow? Yeah, I kind of misunderstood. I got confused earlier with the Pegamoo stuff. Pegamoo refers to both of them, and then Pegabull is the guy, and Pegacow is the girl. So that's kind of how it works. Which I should have figured that out. I don't really know. You told me that you didn't attend the wedding reception. Can you believe they told me only family and relatives can attend? They wouldn't even let me into the reception hall. So I had to sneak in with a disguise, you know? Oh yeah, so what? Then that's odd. No one in this courtroom ever mentioned the sex of the lantern that was moved. Oh. So how could you know that it was a bull lantern? Oh, nice one, Phoenix. You didn't have to actually go to the reception to know that. Anyone could tell there were two Pegabulls by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet. No! Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't even need to read that. It speaks for itself. Please add that last statement to your testimony, Mr. Butz. Here we go. Don't worry, I will press it before I present. Anyone can tell there were two Pegabulls by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet. Yeah, you definitely could. Seriously, Larry. If you're hiding something, you better fess up now. I'm telling you, I don't know nothing. Why you have to doubt me so much, dude? Why? Because you're you, that's why. Ho-ho! Boy! Edgy, you think Nick's being awful to me, don't you? So you tell him. Tell Nick what a big meanie he had. I would if I thought she was being one. Not you too. Why doesn't anybody ever take my side? I wish I didn't have to doubt him. He's so sweet, you know? Something about what he just said doesn't add up. You finally got a decent statement out of him, huh, Nick? Yeah, finally. Sure took a lot of work, though. I hope all this leads somewhere. Nah, we're good. Nick, you big fat stinking jerk. I don't need to hear this again. I don't need to be reminded. Anyway. Well, one look at this pamphlet, but let me just make sure here. Because I'm pretty sure, according to the pamphlet, there's a Pegabull and a Pegacow there. Yep. I mean, that was almost too easy. Objection! I want you to take a look at this, Mr. Butz. And please don't fart. Because unfortunately, I'm not going to fart either, don't worry. Unfortunately for you, the pamphlet clearly shows a Pegacow and a Pegabull in their example diagram of the reception hall. Huh? But on that day, instead of putting a Pegacow and Pegabull out for the bride and groom, there were two male Pegabulls on display. Yet somehow you knew there were two Pegabulls in the reception hall that day. So tell me. There's only one way you would know something like that, Larry. That's if you were there. We could have just used the business card holder to prove that, though, hell. Well, no, not to prove that he moved it, though, no. Oh, jeez, edgy. Larry, you didn't. Mr. Butz, did you move the lantern containing the victim's body to the reception hall? That's what it looks like. Doesn't mean he knew the body was there, though. Yeah. Oh, boy. I mean, at least we're getting somewhere here. It's starting to establish reasonable doubt, which is really the key here. Wait, Nick! You don't think I'm the murderer, do you? Maybe you and Mr. Gloomsbury were fighting over Miss Wyatt and you ended up killing him? I think I would remember that. Maya, not you too! Look, I did sneak into the reception, okay? But that's as far as it went. You know me, or I wouldn't hurt a fly! I'm having too much fun with this voice. I'm sorry, it's really annoying. You snuck into the reception. Yeah, sure. But some of the Sprocket men caught and locked me up in one of the cabins. It's pretty awful, actually. But that's when I made that drawing of the pterodactyl I showed you, Nick. Oh, I almost pronounced the P. Ixnay on the Aerodactyl Pte winter. Never mind. Mr. Wright, not even you would take this fuss that far, would you? Does he even know about that yet? We are talking about Larry. What do I do? Are we going to find out what that is right now? Do I accuse Larry of being the true culprit? No. No, you're right, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Butz didn't have a reason to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. He might have had an imaginary reason to kill Soren Sprocket, sure. But not Mr. Gloomsbury. Oh, man. Here we go. He's gonna get me a... Oh, well, no. After all, he did steal Mr. Sprocket's bride and try to elope with her. Just because I tried to steal somebody's bride doesn't make me a murderer! Oh, no. I believe you, Larry, and I don't think you killed anybody either. You would never do anything like that. You're too stupid to pull it off! Nickel, buddy, old pal. I knew you'd come through for me. Our friendship is back on, okay? Funny that, considering your sworn testimony just now that we were through. That was sworn testimony. I mean, that means more than just talking. Mr. Butz, it's time you told this court the whole truth. Understood? Understood, baby. Well, I'm saying understood, but I don't know if he understands. Moving the lantern. Okay, okay, so you got locked up, though? It's just like Nick said, I'm the one who moved the lantern. Alright. So there's the bowl. Alright. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. Before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. Okay, alright. There was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. So I decided to do Ellie a favor. You know, it probably would have been a good idea to maybe mention this sooner. So you switched the lanterns before the reception, did you? And that means the victim really was killed before the reception. I mean, if he's telling the truth, then yeah. So the lantern in which the victim's body was found, Larry wheeled it up from the hole to the reception hall before the reception began. Oh, man. Well, it would appear that Mr. Butz completely fell for the defendant's scheme. Yeah, I know, this, like... Scheme? What scheme? I mean, he says the letter was from her, telling him to switch the bulls. Like, was there some other reason that she wanted him to do that, and then just a body happened to be in there also? Not likely. This note from the defendant, exchanged with the one in the hold, Ellen. Mr. Butz moved the lantern with the body in it up to the reception hall because of this note. And thus he has become a suspect in Mr. Gloomsbury's murder. Gulp, that second lantern did feel pretty heavy. But I never would have thought there was a dead body in it. Yeah. What was a note like that doing on a lantern in the first place? I mean, why would she have left a note on the lantern? Was she just told him? Like, how'd she know he was ever going to see it? Maybe he would never see it. I don't think that's the point, actually, but... You've got it all wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. I left that note for myself. It was simply a reminder because I can be very forgetful.
Objection!
I don't know, man. What's a sorry excuse, Miss Wyatt? The prosecution contends that this note shows one facet of the defendant's murderous plan. And you, Mr. Butz, you played right into Miss Wyatt's hands. I wish I was in her hands. Oh, wait, what? Oh, no way, Edgy, I don't believe it!
Objection!
You still really believe Miss Wyatt to be the culprit, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course, my stance on the matter remains unchanged. If you think I'm wrong, then prove it with your cross-examination. Gladly. Alright. You may cross-examine the witness. Alright, well, I'm having these thoughts, and I know I'm overthinking. It's just like... It's just leaving a tiny little note on a giant, big, bowl-shaped lantern like that. Like, you really think the note's gonna remind you to do it, but seeing the lantern itself, which is 100 times bigger, wouldn't remind you to do it? I don't know. It's weird. It's just like Nick said. But I think I'm just reading too much into it, maybe. I don't know. It's just like Nick said, I'm the one who moved the lantern. Alright. Let us begin. Why didn't you tell us that sooner? Because I knew you guys were going to be suspicious of me, that's why. We're suspicious of you now because you tried to hide it. My thoughts exactly. Huh. Well, now I've told you. Happy? So how about letting me go? Nope. No, not yet. We need you to stick around to sort a few things out. Oh, fine. Brothers. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. Okay, so, like, what were you doing there? The lantern you swapped out was a female pega cow, right? Yeah, I guess. Why did you replace a female lantern with a male one? Because I was too busy trying not to get caught. I didn't have time to check for little details like that. If you didn't want to get caught, you should have just left well enough alone, you know? I mean, yeah! Whatever. Anyway, when I took a look at the broken lantern, I saw... There was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. Yeah, besides, if Ellen actually wrote that note, she wouldn't sign it. Like, if she was writing a note to herself, she wouldn't need to sign it. Unless the note was for her past self, not remember. You know what? We're not even going there. There was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. Was there only one in the hold? What do you mean by the one in the hold? Oops, wait a minute. So you decided to do Ellie a favor. Okay, well,
Hold it!
That note wasn't addressed to you, was it? Well, I guess not, but... I'm not gonna let my dear sweet Ellie do all that hard physical labor on her own. It's precisely that thought process that constantly gets you in trouble, Larry. Besides, it was my big chance to show her how much I cared about her. You know. So I decided to do Ellie a favor. Press. Nobody saw you the whole time while you were switching the lanterns? Nope, I didn't get caught. Not that time, anyway. Not that time? Uh-oh. Yeah, when I tried to sneak into the reception hall the first time. Oh. Yep. Security! I didn't have as much luck. Those sprocket guys spotted me and nabbed me. So you said they lock you away, but then... all my words are failing me right now. Pretty exciting, don't you think? Larry, you need help. Hiccup. And then they locked me up in one of the cabins. There you go. Nick, what are you asking about stuff like this for, anyway? Shouldn't you be trying to prove Allie's innocence? That's exactly what I'm trying to do, but we need to get to the bottom of this. Is that statement of his important to the case? I think it might be. Mr. Butz trying to crash the reception and subsequently getting locked up in a cabin. I believe these might be important facts in this case, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Butz, please add that statement to your testimony. I don't know if we've seen this before. We've seen, like, somebody contradict something that they just said. Because now he's saying you tried to sneak into the reception hall, but you got caught and locked up in a cabin. If that's the case, is you're saying that was before you moved the bull, then how did you move the bull? I don't know.
Hold it!
You must have gotten out at some point? I don't know, I mean, maybe. So you got locked up, then what happened? I'm afraid I don't want to know, but... I broke out. Oh, yeah, that's right, he did say he broke out. Shoot. Then I started looking for Ellie and wandered into the reception hall again. That's when I saw the broken lantern and replaced it. Even after they caught you and locked you up, you still went looking for Miss Wyatt. But hold on a minute. What is it, Nick? Maya, doesn't something seem weird to you? Larry is saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin. That's right. Oh, wait, huh? You're right, it doesn't make much sense, does it? Hang on. I'm trying to keep all this, like, trying to remember where everybody was, but I don't guess there's that much to remember. Have we found an inconsistency? Yes, I believe so, Your Honor. Mr. Butz moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. Okay, wait. I feel like this should actually be really easy, but, well, what was I actually originally thinking? Record of the key cards. Oh, hang on, though. The lantern after he broke out of the cabin. What was this again? Because wouldn't he have had to use a key card to get down there? But then, who's to say, you know, what time this was, or when... I mean, we really don't know anything about what happened the first time he went up there. So, the fact that he's doing this after he broke out of the cabin... like, it must mean that something changed. I feel like. Grab Ellen when convenient and send her off from the Vista deck. Boy, people just love writing notes to remind themselves of stuff. It's pretty typical for a time travel story to have that, though, which is weird. I think that's what feels weird about this. I mean, it could also be that, like, because Larry wheeled it from the hall to the reception hall before the reception began, yet that was after he broke out of the cabin, but we don't know how long he was in the cabin, whether that was before or after the reception, much less which reception. They might have mentioned that in the dialogue at some point, but the other thing I noticed was that there's this picture that he stealthily took of the hold, and Ellen's in the picture, like if he was looking for her. Maybe that has something to do with it? I don't feel like I'm thinking on the right track here, but I'm gonna try it. No. Well, wait. And in what sense does that piece of evidence contradict with the statement? It doesn't contradict it at all, does it? See? Indeed. Oh, dang. Oh, don't mind me, Your Honor. It looks like I just made a tiny mistake. That's all. Yeah, just a little tiny mistake. Ew. Oh, wow, I didn't even get penalized for that. I think this is kind of like the game's subtle way of telling you, yeah, this is the statement you need to present it on, just to eliminate one of the questions that a player would have. Like, which evidence and which statement, but they're telling you right here, well, this is the statement. Now present your evidence. So what was the other thing I was looking at here? Photo of reception. But that's like the one with the fog, and he's not in that one at all. Yeah, it has anything to do with it anyway. And then the other thing was the broken lantern from the hall to the reception hall before the reception began. But apparently it was after he broke out of the cabin, or so he says. I think I might try this.
Take that!
Is that? Wait. Yes, it's the broken lantern, Your Honor. Again. Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again? Mr. Butz, what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all. What? Why not? You swapped the lanterns before the reception began, right? Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it? But you also just said that you swapped the lanterns after you got locked up in a cabin for trying to sneak into the reception. Oh! Okay, I thought the security... Okay, I thought he got caught by the security guards because they would have just been there any old time. Not that the security guards were only there during the reception. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just weird. Like, if you try to sneak into a concert before it starts, you know, you're still going to get caught by security before it starts, because they're there before it starts. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I had a feeling that was why I didn't present that the first time, though, because that's kind of what I was thinking, but... Blah, whatever. In other words, you're saying you swapped the lanterns both before the reception and after the reception took place. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That certainly doesn't make any sense, does it? Mr. Butz, did you swap the lanterns before or after the reception? He swapped in between the two receptions. Which was it, before or after? There's a world of difference between the two. Well, Mr. Butz? I don't know, man! I guess I can't expect you guys like you to understand. In a nutshell, it was both before and after the reception. What? Oh boy. I tried to sneak into the first reception and got locked up. The first reception? Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going. Yeah. But that would explain the time travel thing, why she thought she was time traveling. Then, through the power of Ellie's pendant, time got rewound and we went back to the time before the reception. Uh-oh. Oh, that's what he's gonna say. Oh, God. So he doesn't actually think that they did 2 receptions. He believes the time travel spiel. Yeah, oh boy. Oh boy. We went back in time to before the reception. So of course the reception will take place one more time after that, right? That's why what I said makes perfect sense. What do you even do with that? Mr. Wright, what in the world is the witness talking about? Has he developed some sort of intellectual ailment that I'm not aware of since I last saw him? Maybe. None of the sprockets seem to remember the time skip, but I do. And Ellie remembers it too. I think the power of our love for each other made that miracle happen. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but could you please translate this man's gibberish so the rest of us can understand? So now I have to be the one to explain about the whole time travel thing. Alright then. Closing argument, here we go. Go on, Nick, I know you can do it. Looks like you don't have much choice, Nick. To heck with it. I can't lose any more of my dignity today anyway. What are you gonna do, Phoenix? What is he gonna do? The defendant, Miss Ellen Wyatt, has told the defense the following strange story. She said that after the reception ended, she was attacked by Mr. Gloomsbury. She claims that as she was being assaulted, she made a wish upon her pendant. Please take me back to that blissful moment. In doing so, she did it. Time apparently rewound itself to just before the reception began. It what? No, you are not saying this to me right now. I know it's hard to believe, but think about it this way. Through the power of the pendant, both Ellen Wyatt and Larry Butz experienced time travel! Yeah, we just lost this case, y'all, and I don't even care. No, actually, I do quite a bit.
Objection!
I really want to know what's going on here. What absolute rubbish! Mr. Wright, I've heard my fair share of your nonsense over the years, but this takes the cake. Have you thoroughly lost your fucking mind?
Objection!
This is simply the conclusion I came to, using that logic ability you love so much. That's not logic, man. You know what that is? I don't think there's a name for it, actually. It's that ridiculous. That no one in the world, of all 7 billion people in this world, nobody has ever done anything that utterly stupid, which is why we don't have a word for it. The truth of the matter is, the future president of Sprocket Aviation, Soren Sprocket, has been researching time machines. So what if a time machine has already been successfully created? And what if that's one of Sprocket Aviation's top secret inventions? A time machine? Yeah, I even saw something while we were time traveling. I saw a pterodactyl flying through the sky. Oh my god, you didn't just say it, you said it. He said it, y'all. We are screwed. Maybe the airship was set to travel through time for their honeymoon trip. What? A pterodactyl?
Objection!
No, I know. You can't possibly have any evidence to back up your ridiculous time travel story. I have a drawing. Huh, you have a drawing. Mr. Wright, we've been through this before. As I thought. In any case, I now have the evidence to prove that you're no more intelligent than Larry. Oh my god! Not so fast now, Edgy. I'm not the same old Larry you used to know. Sure. Sure. You want evidence? I got your evidence right here. This is a photo I secretly took of the first reception. Oh, what are we doing here? Another photo? How many of these photos are there, and why are they all so good? Should have been a photographer, Larry. Larry, I can't believe you... Well, anyway, good job. If we compare the photos of the first and second receptions, and can find a difference, then we'll be able to prove that the reception was held twice. But do you really think such a difference exists? Yes, Your Honor. I just need some time to find it for you. Oh, this is preposterous. The chicken nuggets are almost done in there. Very well, please show the court what's different then. This is proof positive that the wedding reception was held twice. Flowers don't look right. Wasn't she holding like the other ones? Wait a second. Those were just like the flowers in the hole though, but what... Thankfully we can look at this. Photo of the reception taken by a relative. Let me look here for a second. Yeah, dude! Okay, it's not the flowers I thought, but they're definitely a different color. Okie dokie then. Okie dokie, artichoke. Flowers, go!
Take that!
Please direct your attention to Miss Wyatt's bouquet of flowers. In the photo one of her in-laws took, the defendant is holding a yellow bouquet. Boy, they just don't look happy at all, do they? But in the photo Mr. Butz took, she's holding a red bouquet. You're right! Maybe the fog made them change color. That's impossible! What does this mean? It means, good sir, that the defendant really did experience 2 wedding receptions. And she did that when she traveled back through time! No! God damn it. Oh my god, no! She just passed that. Look at Edgeworth. Oh, I feel so bad for him. He's just like, he's had it. And I have had it. Nick! You did it! You proved Ellen's time travel story to be true! Yeah, I can hardly believe it myself. It's just as Ellen said, the reception was held twice. This turns every assumption we base this trial on upside down!
Objection!
Hell yeah, you object, Edgeworth. You don't have to take this. I refuse to accept such a ludicrous argument. It is pure fiction under the guise of pseudoscience at best. Holy shit, dude. There is simply no such thing as time travel. Otherwise, I wouldn't be 35 years old. I know it's hard, but can't you suspend your disbelief for 1 nanosecond, Edgeworth? No, I will not be quiet, Chewbacca! I bet sci-fi movies push all your buttons the wrong way, don't they, Mr. Edgeworth? Those are movies, okay? I can totally picture you yelling, "That would never happen!" every 5 seconds at the screen. Maybe you should stay away from movie dates altogether. Dude, that's neither here nor there. This is real life we're talking about. Exactly. Well, the proof is clearly shown in the 2 photographs. There's no proof of time travel. There were 2 receptions, that could have been done. Just to mislead her into thinking...
Objection!
That would be a pretty big operation, but it could have been done. Fine, I'll entertain your absurd delusion. I wish I was playing as Edgeworth right now, actually. If only to demolish it before your very eyes. What? Yeah, watch me. Let's start with this then, shall we? There is one thing your time travel theory fails to explain. And that is the memories of the other guests there. The defendant and Larry remember the reception occurring twice, but no member of the Sprocket family has even mentioned such a thing. Ooh, okay, wait a second now. Alright, hang on. He was locked in the cabin. Right, okay, and, he came out and wheeled up the thing before the second reception, but after the first one. Didn't the attack on her also happen in between the 2? So obviously they were both... She was knocked out and he was in the cabin, so neither of them would have known if they were doing something on the outside. Yeah, man, something ain't right. But no member of the Sprocket family has ever mentioned such a thing. That's because the time machine is classified technology. Nope, don't let him have it, Edgeworth. Kick my ass, please. I'm not done, you shit, bud. As I was saying, if the entire family had been sworn to secrecy, then why hadn't they sworn the woman who was marrying into the family to secrecy too? Because they never planned on her being a part of it in the first place, probably. Honestly, all it takes is a little common sense, Mr. Wright. Even still, how do we know that the trip through time did not really occur? There is proof in the photos that it did. And besides, if time travel doesn't exist, well, I'd be a little disappointed, frankly. I mean, I would too, you know, that's the thing about it. All I saw there was the word youth. I started looking up at my webcam like I was talking to you guys or something. You mustn't allow yourself to be taken in by Mr. Wright's whimsical tales, Your Honor. I've read about it in various literature, you see. And they all say that time travel is just not logically feasible. Us living in a simulation, however, there is scientific proof for that. Well, evidence points towards it anyway. I don't really know myself. Maybe our argument was just a little too nonsensical, Nick. Maybe it was. Well, in that case, why don't we put common sense to the test? Excuse me. The wedding reception was held twice. The photos are proof of that. Okay, yeah, I agree that. I don't agree that they prove time travel, but I do agree they prove the reception was held twice. But it wasn't because of time travel. It's simply because the reception had actually been held twice. Isn't that the most reasonable way to interpret the situation? Would you care to elaborate, Mr. Bright? If time travel doesn't exist, then there's only one way to make sense of what happened. Somebody must have orchestrated this strange phenomenon, and that somebody is... everyone. Everybody at the reception. They were all in on it. It wouldn't make sense for them not to be. What if all of the guests at the reception conspire together to hold the reception twice and keep quiet about it? What? Every single what in this episode has been people in the game saying it and not me. And for what purpose would they conspire to do such a thing? I don't know, to make her think she was crazy? Because they knew she'd never be able to explain it. Of course, how would they know that that's what she was going to try to do? Well, that's Larry clapping, isn't it? Ha ha ha, a brilliant deduction, defense. Who is this? Oh. Well, that's underwhelming. I was hoping for Franziska. I'm stupid, I know! Like, why would she be in this case? That doesn't even make any sense. I can tell that you are not a renowned lawyer for nothing. I must say I underestimated you. How so, Mr. Nakudi? You have managed to name each event precisely as they happened. You have revealed it all to the light of day. Then that means... it was us. We orchestrated the whole thing. Yes, the reception was held twice. But not because of time travel, no. We simply held it a second time. Why? Why would you do such a thing? Because one good turn deserves another, after all. To make it as though the murder Miss Owen committed never happened. Oh. Oh no! Master Soren figured that if Miss Ellen, who'd killed Gloomsbury after the first reception, experienced the reception one more time, she would think it was all a dream. It was he who ordered us to make it happen. However, only a few, myself included, knew of Miss Ellen's crime. Are you saying most of the guests attended 2 receptions without knowing why? Indeed. They needed no reason. Master Soren told them to do it, and do what they did. That is the Sprocket way. Then who hid the body in the lantern? That would be me. Oh, we did. Oh, well. But we did not anticipate the petals finding their way in, nor the actions of Mr. Butz. And that's how you intended to cover the whole situation up? There's just one thing everyone here has wrong. The real scene of the murder was not the hold. It was the Vista deck. Okay. Then Miss White's recollection of the events must be correct. I admit we tried to cover this incident up, but the fact that Miss Ellen killed Gloomsbury is undeniable. This is quite a turn of events. Oh, man. But, Was that you laughing, Edgeworth? And so it appears we have arrived at the truth at last. Now. Don't you now me, shitbird. Please do feel free to travel back in time, Mr. Wright, and attempt to do this trial over again. Go on. Okay, here I go. Alright, I'm turning off my 3DS now. No. I think that was a fourth wall break, maybe a little bit there. Let's not get hasty, Edgeworth. I will get hasty all I want. I bet you can't do it. I bet you can't do it. I bet I can't either! Your Honor, we will have to hold a separate trial for the cover-up conspiracy later. But as far as this case goes, I believe we are ready for your ruling.
Objection!
Ah? No. Just before the defendant lost consciousness during her attack, she says she saw someone strike the victim. It's possible that this third party is the true culprit.
Objection!
You still want us to believe the defendant's words. Perhaps you've lost more than your touch during your time abroad. This third-person nonsense is nothing but rubbish and you know it.
Objection!
Well, let's ask her. But by the same token, how can we trust those who conspired and lied to fool this court of law? For all we know, they might still be hiding something. You never know when to quit, do you? God damn it, dude. Now, calm down, both of you. In any case, there isn't enough trustworthy information yet here for me to render a verdict. I suggest we continue the trial after both sides have investigated the matter further. I almost gave him the accent. Very well, Your Honor. Why got to spend 6 more hours of my time standing in this courtroom, piddle-fucking with you people, when we all know what the truth is here? Just slam the gavel. Mr. Nicody, as for you and your cohort's attempt to cover up this crime, your case will be brought to a separate trial following the resolution of this current one. Understood, he doesn't seem to mind. Well then, this concludes today's trial. Court is adjourned. I think he would almost want to be charged for the cover-up, rather than be charged for a killing, just like how Matt Ongard, or who was it? Remember how Red White was like, oh yeah, the wiretapping of the phone, that was totally me, look over here, it was me, you can charge me for that all you want. Because that would be no problem as long as they got him off of the murder charge. I feel like that might be what's happening here. He's like, oh yeah, we covered it up. Because that draws attention away from the possibility that he did it. Which is, I don't know, that's just a theory, but we can save. Yep, save right here. Kind of like to keep going, actually, but it is getting very late. Besides, this is a good place to stop. We'll see where it starts us, at least. Right here in the offices, go figure. Alright, well then, next time on Phoenix Wright, back to investigation, and we'll see what else we can learn about this final case, man. Oh, I can't believe this. The closer we get to the end of it, the more real it gets, it's kind of weird.